step into the extraordinary tale of China's last emperor, Puyi, a street sweeper with an astounding past. From a pampered ruler in the Forbidden City to a gardener reminiscing about his youth, witness a life that defies belief. This is the incredible journey of a man who experienced both power and humility, a story that unveils the enigmatic workings of history. Join us as we unravel the insane life story of China's last emperor, how history works. In 1959, a young street sweeper who was lost said these things to inquisitive onlookers in Beijing, the capital of China. Although they appear to be the remarks of a lunatic, they were not. The street-sweeping employee was being honest. He was, in fact, China's final emperor. The infant Puyi, who was born in 1906, was crowned emperor by the ailing dowager Empress Sigiti when he was just 2 years and 10 months old. His parents learned of his accession to the throne for the first time when a group of eunuchs and palace servants showed up at their house to remove the young child. The small youngster, who was crying out for his parents, was shoved into a vehicle and sent to Beijing's enormous Forbidden City Palace complex. For the following 16 years, he would reside there. For Puyi, living in the Forbidden City was a life of great privilege. As he grew up, he was treated as a living deity and was pampered by an enormous entourage of attendants, including eunuchs who had to wear jars with pickled genitalia around their necks. No one dared refuse the small emperor. In 1922, after an unsuccessful attempt to reinstate the monarchy in 1917, it was determined that the former emperor, then 16, should wed. He casually perused images of a variety of teenage ladies, selecting one at random because they all appeared to him to be the same. His first pick was rejected, and he was informed that he would wed a woman by the name of Gobulo Wanrong, with his first pick becoming his concubine. The wedding took place on October 22, 1922. Because the marriage did not finish as planned on the first night, there was talk that Puyi might have had gay tendencies. At first, the pair got along well. They laughed and joked while riding their bicycles about the Forbidden City. Sadly, the connection would deteriorate gradually, with terrible results for Wanrong. When the warlord General Feng Yuxiang took Beijing in 1924 and ordered Puyi and his wife to leave the palace, Puyi and Wanrong's stay in the Forbidden City came to an abrupt end. Puyi sought safety at the Japanese consulate out of fear for his life. Later, he managed to reach the Japanese-controlled concession in Tianjin, where a small court was set up for him in a home known as the Garden of Serenity. The young emperor and his wife had a rather dull life in the Garden of Serenity. To escape the monotony of being an empress who was supposed to do little other than fulfill her husband's desires, Wanrong started using opium around this time. Puyi's court was swiftly packed up as the Soviets drew near Changchun, and the emperor, his opium-dependent wife, his concubines, and his staff boarded a train to leave the city. They were stuck because the Soviets had attacked all the nearby railroad stations, leaving them with nowhere to go. The group made a reluctant turnaround. The decision was made at that point for Puyi and the male courtiers to depart Changchun via plane. They used a jet to flee the city, but were intercepted by the Soviets in Shenyang. Wanrong, Puyi's wife, suffered the consequences of her decision to leave the woman behind. In 1946, she and her colleagues were apprehended by Chinese guerrillas while trying to flee to Korea. He was given a job as a street sweeper at this location, stopping bystanders to introduce himself as the Chinese emperor and ask for instructions at home. The Beijing Botanical Gardens eventually offered him a position as a gardener. He loved his job as a gardener, and when he wasn't working, he would go to the Forbidden City and serve as a makeshift tour guide, pointing out various objects he had used when he was a youngster. Later in life, he would also be required by the authorities to give press conferences in which he would promote the virtues of the communist system, in which he had since developed a strong belief. It was a significant change. On October 17, 1967, Puyi passed away in Beijing due to kidney cancer. He was 61, a 61-year-old age. Beginning his reign as a spoilt young king, an army of slaves catered to his every whim. A modest gardener, he passed away. China would never again be governed by a ruler. The Qing dynasty's Puyi, the 12th emperor, would be the last. In conclusion, Puyi's life was a fascinating journey from royalty to the humble gardener. His story reminds us of the ever-changing tides of history. If you want to explore more captivating tales like this, subscribe to our channel and never miss another riveting piece of history's puzzle. Subscribe now and embark on a thrilling adventure through time with us.